Hola, and welcome to the land of 10,000 emails, aka the village at Tiogue. I just got through, myself and my team, a very arduous and dense process of going over 10,000 documents, emails, reports, findings, memorandums, memos, instructions. Very, very dense. And what I've done, and what we've done, is put this into a very bite-sized and chronological timeline, but also more so to the point of this video to go over some of the key findings and how it's going to affect the project's viability as well as the upcoming Superior Court complaint. So I would like to go over that with you and see what you think. So this, first off, I want to say this is not about anti-housing, right? This is a property management channel, and I myself am not only a landlord but a developer. So this has nothing to do with anti-housing. It has whether or not to do with the process and how consistent or inconsistent it was, how transparent it was, and whether or not the findings were supported by the evidence. And when you lay the timeline out clearly, like I have, certain things start to stand out. All right, so first thing I want to bring up is the safety issue. It was never a surprise. July 19th, 2024, a local resident writes, quote, "The road infrastructure surrounding the area is not equipped to handle the drastic increase of traffic," unquote. That's in the official email record. From day one, Tiffany Road was, and still is, the issue. It's very narrow, it's partially one way, has no sidewalks, it actually has trees where sidewalks would be. It's used as a cut through to Route 3 from I-95, much to the disdain of local residents, and it has very limited emergency access. I don't think you could fit a hot dog cart down that road in an emergency. That's how tight it is, especially now with all the snow that we have. So this Tiffany Road matter wasn't discovered later. It wasn't invented for appeal. It's been documented, and it was so immediately. And the town knew so. So next, the town does acknowledge that Tiffany is a safety problem. In October 2025, when the town hired a traffic peer reviewer, planning director Doug McLean, my #1 fan, wrote that Tiffany Road was, quote, "a particularly narrow, one-way town road," unquote. And we'll put that up for you. And that one was interesting too, because Doug mentions the engineer coming in person to possibly butter them up. That was interesting. So this wasn't a neighbor exaggerating. This was the planning director identifying a clear constraint to the project's viability. And for months, traffic and emergency access were treated as safety concerns. And this is a town road, right? It's not meant to be used for high density traffic. Peer review were done, off-site improvements, as well as fire access discussions. Then in January of this year, that tone shifts suddenly, right before the vote too. Just days before the final vote on January 22nd of 2026, Doug writes internally of Tiffany Road, "Not a safety concern per experts, but a nuisance issue," unquote. That's not paraphrased, that's the record from Doug. So for months it was a safety issue. Then right before the vote it became a nuisance issue. That's not subtle, that's reframing. And when findings change tone like that, the question then becomes, did the evidence change or did the language change? Next is the density issue, which I think is arguably one of the strongest issues. October 1st, 2025, Doug writes internally, not to the public, internally, quote, remove the density language. Joel, who is the developer's attorney, Joel acknowledged to me they are a few units over. Better to be silent until we are 100% sure, unquote. And we'll put that up for you. And when it comes to density compliance, that is not a minor issue when it comes to a comprehensive permit. It determines eligibility and also it determines legality. And here we have the applicant's counsel acknowledging, quote, there are a few units over. Then we have the planning director acknowledging that internally. And finally, the public language being removed. Quote, better to be silent. That matters because findings must and always match the record. Next, on the issue of permit pathway assistance, on January 31st of 2025, the applicant's engineer says DEM is, quote, stuck because regulations haven't caught up to comprehensive permit law. DEM wants a letter from the town. And Doug replies, quote, yes, we can get you a letter. And we'll put that up for you. The town drafts a letter explaining that the comprehensive permit doesn't require master plan approval. And that's not illegal, but it shows the town is actively helping shape the regulatory pathway, which makes record neutrality even more important. And as I mentioned in my Doug McLean video, and what I was trying to get across is that there is a continuity between Doug and developers because he works for them in his private capacity. And an example like this shows me that continuity and that congruity between them. Next is the issue of the quorum collapse. And we'll put up quorum for those of you that don't know what quorum is. We'll put up that definition. On December 18th, 2025, the Planning Commission cannot assemble a quorum, so the meeting is canceled. I believe 3 members resigned, including Chairman Flynn, who was on the board for 2 decades. Big deal. The chairman resigns. Doug writes about avoiding, quote, gaps in the legitimacy of the public hearing process, unquote. And we'll put that up for you. That's powerful language from Doug. He's acknowledging the fragility. They re-notice the hearing in town. They re-advertise. They emphasize legitimacy because process matters and they know that. Next, on the state-mandated clock pressure, January 18th of 2026, Doug emails the Planning Commission stating, quote, we are cutting it extremely close and are up against the state-mandated clock, unquote. And we'll put that up. And that shows me deadline pressure as well as quorum fragility, which is very important. There's late revisions and then a vote. And the late night vote issue is one that had many residents up in arms, including myself. After the January 28th hearing, residents, including myself, alleged that the agenda did not clearly state votes would be taken. It referenced no new business after 10 p.m., and the vote occurred right before midnight. And we'll put that up for you now so you can see that.
I've had issue with the density from pre-application. I think that's been the elephant in the room. Everyone knows it. It's been the crux of a lot of the public comment, and it's to no fault of the applicant. That's the law. That's what we've been dealt to the public, which there's no one left. We've taken this so seriously. We've taken notes for months. We hear you. We've listened. We sympathize. I love the town. I live in the town. I agree with everything that's been said. But at the end of the day, the law is the law, and I wish the senator was still here. I don't know if Rep. Serpa is still on. This has to be fixed. Something needs to be done. This is gonna keep coming up.
Yeah, I'll concur on that one.
But that said, if there's no other discussion, I'm gonna call roll for a vote. I'll start in this direction. Mr. Burt,
Yes.
Mr. Price? Yes. Mr. Kenny,
Yes.
Mr. De Silva,
Yes.
Mr. Reyes,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. So it's unanimous, as the motion was made with the stipulations.
And as you can see, that was a unanimous approval with nobody in the room. Most of the public had already left and were fast asleep. Now, whether that violated a statute is for a judge to decide, but fairness is the real question. If people reasonably believed the vote wouldn't occur that late, was that meaningful participation? And back to DEM and the mismatch allegation. After the vote, residents, including myself, alleged the DEM permit referenced in the record did not match the revised plan configuration. And Doug's response was, quote, permits not required until final plan stage. Permit provided as a courtesy, unquote. And to me, that's the defense posture. But it leaves a clarity question. Was the plan voted on fully aligned with the environmental approvals referenced? So, as I said in the beginning, this is not about anti-housing. This is not about stopping housing. This is about whether safety concerns were resolved or reworded, whether density compliance was transparent, whether procedural safeguards were maintained under pressure, and whether the vote matched the evidence. And an appeal, folks, it doesn't cancel housing, okay? It asks, did the commission follow the law? And did the findings align with the record? That's really it, okay? If the town got this right, the record will support it. If they didn't, the record will show that as well. And that's why the record matters. So until then, I will keep you posted with developments on the development. And until then, once again, Greg Rice from Nexus Property Management, your property and your $100 million development managed.